to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with a nasty bite out. In the dead of the night, teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
I'm headed to the bottom of the bottle. I've been drowning, I've been floating away. Every other dollar that I got in bed, I probably went and it away. I ain't f***ing okay, I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk, I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck here for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I'm enslaved. Yeah. Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat from the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million cause that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family, from a girl, every fan I meet. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down to make new thoughts, like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil when I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. See the sun coming out of that rain. Mind saying really not tame. I'ma never slow down, I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. Yeah, I'm a slave for you. I'm a slave for you. Ripping harder, more less. Never stop, no rest. Till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck. Progress to a god from a god. Mess, hopeless, more tests. More blessed. Dug deep down, trying to find my best. Find a beast, had to kill a conquest. I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down to make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil when I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. See the sun coming out of that rain. Mind saying really not tame. I'ma never slow down, I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. at you. So I'm crazy. Won't you bend that back for me? We won't stop. Got your feet both locked. You get to fly with me. I can take you down for a ride. I take you around my life. Jaywalking, crosswalking, lip locking with you. I know it, you know it, we make it. Oh my baby, got me staring at you. So I'm crazy. Won't you bend that back for me? We won't stop. Got your feet both locked. You get to fly with me. I can take you down for a ride. I take you around my life. Jaywalking, crosswalking, lip locking with you. I know it, you know it, we make it.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Overtime TV cast of the playoff Highlander game, I should say, between Red Pandas and Atomic Affinity. Joining me on the co-cast tonight is Eternal, and our production is being run by Core tonight. How are you doing, Eternal?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. I had a really big day at work today, so I'm pretty tired, but hopefully some excellent TF2 will wake me up.
Oh, this is the sleepy cast then.
No, hopefully this game will be close and nail-biting and I'll wake myself up.
Hopefully it should be good. These teams have been top teams for the whole season, and everyone kind of assumed that this will be the grand finals match as well.
Is this the finals match or is this just a playoffs match?
No, this is... I think it's upper bracket, I'd like to say.
So this is like so the semi-final or the one before the semi-final? Alright. Upper bracket round 3. There you go. Upper bracket round 3. We sorted it out. Cool. So, yeah, as you said before, these two teams have been playing together for quite a while. I know Red Pandas is kind of like the unstoppable force in Australian Highlander right now. They've won the last, oh my goodness, like 10 seasons or something like that.
Season 19 UGC, I'd like to say. 1920, around then.
What are they up to now? Like 30?
Oh, it's like 25, I think we just finished for UGC.
I think they beat VD's record, didn't they, of like 7 or 8 seasons in a row. So I assume it's been longer than that.
I'm not 100% sure.
Me either. But yeah, I think they're currently the longest undefeated team in Highlander, made up of some very, very skillful Highlander mains, as well as some Sixers players coming in to lend a hand. And on the other side of Atomic Affinity, they're kind of like the only team that's really been able to contest Red Pandas in any sort of way that I've seen over the last season or two. They've been playing together for a few seasons, I believe.
Yeah, I'd like to say this is their 3rd or 4th season, including UGC. So it should be good.
Yeah, looking forward to some good plays. And as this is like a playoffs match, we will actually be playing 3 maps tonight. The one that you're seeing on your screens right now is Gully Wash. I believe that's the first map we're going to see played tonight. What are the other 2 maps, Eternal?
So we're starting off from Gully Wash, and then we are going into Badwater, and for the decider will be Borneo.
Sure, so that's only if we need it, we'll see Borneo. If not, we'll stay with these 2 of Gully Wash and Badwater. Badwater is exciting to do. I really like casting payload maps. I don't get a chance to do it very often, and it is enjoyable to do. Not so much experience with 5CP Highlander though. I mean,
Yeah, neither am I. This is going to be an interesting map, in my opinion, because they're both it's a Highlander format on, like, you can walk up two sides, so could end either way.
yeah, I mean, does the mid play out similar to a Sixers mid in that it's like very, you know, demo soldier aggression based and then scouts walking forward and just like dealing a lot of damage to clean everything up? Or is it much slower based around snipers and heavies or something like that? Because I don't really follow Highlander anymore.
I'm honestly not that sure, because, like, my team is versus some of the weaker teams on Gully Wash, so we've kind of just taken DM fights and just won. So I would have no idea what it's like, and I've never seen any ETF2L game or the ESCA game of Gully Wash and Highlander.
Yeah, I mean, like from my experience of playing Highlander, it's heavily sniper based. So I reckon a lot of this will come down to the snipers. I believe sniping for Red Pandas is Doge, and is it Raze sniping for the other team?
I believe it's normally Raze, unless I know they've had Rocky on sniper before, but from what it looks like, he'll be playing Scout.
All right, sure. We'll I guess we'll go through the teams once we know who's playing what class. Because again, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't follow Highlander, so I don't know who's playing what. If they're playing what they're playing at the moment, I think we can talk about some players who are fairly confident that we'll be playing, you know, certain classes. For example, Bird playing Pyro, Zoid playing Spy, Locke playing Medic. Like, it's fairly consistent what they're gonna play. I mean, do you think there's a standout player on each team to watch out for, Eternal?
For Atomic, I definitely think if they have Raze is definitely a standout player, especially on Sniper. And if Rocky is on Soldier, he's definitely a very dominant soldier, especially on a CP map.
It's much more of a roamer soldier role as well. You don't necessarily take a lot of heals as soldier, and his DM, I think, is easily the best in Australia in terms of like pure DM. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out in these sort of class matchups. If, say, it is, for example, Raze sniping against Doge, who do you reckon has the upper hand in that sort of playoff?
I'd like to say Doge probably has the upper hand just of experience, and Doge has always had very good aim, but he's also played off his positioning a lot. So he's always been able to outposition other snipers and always, like, hold the tight angles.
Yeah, I've kind of experienced that too. He's very good at like knowing the sightlines and playing the sightlines very well. Playing against him in like pugs and stuff, he will like stand in the right spot and like move regularly, so you can't like get a read on him.
He's always consistently rotating as well. Like, you'll see him somewhere and you'll look away for a second, he's probably gone. He's watching somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a lot of it, because like if you get the sniper called, you can like engage in that aim duel, whereas if like you don't give them the chance to get that aim duel, then you're gonna win all the time, no matter what.
Yeah, I know the heavy for Atomic is definitely Brian, but I don't know the rest of I don't know what their flank is going to be like. I know John is definitely on Spy and Rem's on mid, so they're just playing each other's classes in pre-game.
Yeah, I think it's looking like Hyper will play heavy on the other side matchup, because I reckon NG will probably play NG, and I know Hyper has played heavy for them before, so I assume Hyper's playing heavy this season, and they call me NG, the veteran VD engineer main, coming back to play engineer, who's like, I don't know if he's played a lot recently, but he played for VD, which was previously the most dominant Highlander team in Australia back when I started playing in sort of like season, I don't know, like 10 or 12 or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of the class matchups happen. As I'm not 100% sure who will win in these things. Do you think it's a sniper-based game, or do you think spies will come into play? I know Zoid is a very, very talented spy, and John isn't far behind, I feel. Do you think that it's the timing of the spies will come into effect a lot, or is it going to be sniper heavy?
I think Spy would definitely come into it. I've played against Triss a lot in Pogs, and I know that Triss has very good timing, and he's got very good prioritizing on his picks, and he knows what to do and when to do it. He also knows a lot of really dumb spots to hide. So we could see that coming out, or who knows what Triss has up his sleeve, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Spy works in 5CP either, because it's the only times I've seen it played is like, to break a stalemate or something like that. I don't know how it works in Highlander, but I imagine it's fairly similar to how it would work on payload. Just, get behind them and click on their back, rather than any sort of like special moves that you bust out just for the certain maps.
It'd be interesting to see the demo matchup, because Hertz could be either on demo or soldier, so that one's hard to tell, and Super is definitely on demo for Atomic. Pause is actually in the server now. And
I believe Pause is playing soldier, yeah.
So Rocky must be on Scout then.
Possibly. They asked about a Scout Merc just before. I'm not sure what will happen with that. Pause might even be playing, like, literally any other class, because I know he can play any other Highlander class at this level. I've definitely seen him play heavy quite a lot and be quite impactful, but I know Brian is the heavy on the other team, so that's unlikely to happen. But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of waiting for these players to filter into the server before we go live properly. Do you feel that this map favors one team or the other, or is it just going to come down to who does, the DM better, like it kind of has for the last little while?
I think it's definitely going to come down to the DM, because this isn't a map that's really played a lot, so I'd assume most of these teams don't really have too much of a history playing this map, but I do need a restart. My HUD is freaking out.
Sure. Well, at the moment, I think there's about 8 players on each team. We're hopefully due to start kind of soon. Who do you reckon is playing medic for the red team? Because at the moment,
it'd be Rem.
It'd be Rem.
So Rem and I were talking earlier. Yeah.
Cool. I know. Talking about demos before as well. I know Shupo recently actually won the most improved Prem last season. And his DM is really quite amazing from what I've seen in the few games I've played with him.
Yeah, Shupa's really had a strong DM, especially coming off his break. His DM has still been very good, and he's been playing pretty nutty in Pogs from what I've seen.
Do you think Hertz has the edge on him though, or is it? I mean, I assume Hertz playing demo.
Has the edge.
Do you reckon there's any players on the side of Red Pandas that don't have the edge? Is there anyone on the other team that you feel is going to outclass any of the Red Pandas players on their chosen class?
I'm not sure, honestly. It could go either way in terms of some classes. It just depends on who's having a better day as well.
Yeah, I mean,
grab strength.
Yeah, sure. I think it's in Mumble if you need it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, still just kind of waiting for these teams to sort themselves out. I mean, do you have anything that you'd like to say about, Respawn League in general, seeing as you're one of the admins or anything like that?
Just that we've had a really good, positive first season, and all the admins have been very helpful, and it's been nice having people around who are, no one's been an issue for us that we've had to deal with, and it's just been, a fun first season. And to see how many, the backing support of the community is incredible, and we've had so much support, which we all can't thank everyone enough. But it's good to see that we have 15 teams on our first season, which is, I think UGC only had 12 last season, and they have 6 this season. But to see us having striving with 15 and being a dominant Highlander league is actually incredible.
Do you feel that you're filling the community's need for a Highlander league that actually gives a shit, or is it more than just
because UGC stopped really it kind of died off, and the support for it kind of went down the drain a little bit, and it was really hard to contact admins, especially in my opinion, because there was just Coden, because all the other admins were in NA, so while you're playing, they're just asleep. But we've got all Australian admins, so it's easy to contact us. There's a Discord which people can post in. If they need it, they'll get one of the admins or even someone else. If none of the admins are online, maybe someone in the community will offer help.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty successful season from what I've seen. I know I've had a fair bit of fun when I've actually been able to make it to a game. I've had a load of fun playing. I think I played mainly heavy this season. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I kind of didn't make a lot of games, not gonna lie.
Whatever's needed when you could show up.
Yeah, I've been like really busy this like last few months, so I've not
That's
had the
fair.
best availability. But it's always like that at the end of the year.
Oh well, if you're showing up and you're having fun, that's the important part.
Yeah, I mean, have you had any like brand new teams join, as in like people who've never played UGC or anything like that
Yeah,
before?
we have
or...
actually. I think we've had 3 or 4 of like the lower teams with completely new teams and no past UGC experience.
That's really cool, actually, because
Yeah.
I remember when I first started playing in like the past, it was Highlander that got me into it because I wanted to play the classes I could play in a pub, and when you're not very good at the game, it tends to be the easier classes. So Highlander is that great bridge into competitive because you feel that it makes a little bit more sense going straight from a pub mentality.
It feels more natural to the pub because you can see that you've got all 9 classes, but we are seeing a ready up from one team.
Yeah, there's still only 8 players on the side of Atomic Affinity, so they're not quite ready to go yet. I think they're trying to sort out possibly a Merc for someone. I'm not 100% sure who they're looking for a Merc for right now, but there is only 8 on their team, so I reckon they're seeing if they can sort something out as soon as they can.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening, so they might be able to get someone in the last minute. Rocky is on Sniper now.
Yeah, perhaps Rocky or Snipe. I don't know what's happening with Raze. I don't know if he's even on the team. I haven't been following it, to be honest. I know Atomic Affinity used to be Raze's team, but I have no idea if he still plays.
They do have someone in. It's Greenio.
Cool, alright, that is already up. Yeah, so Greenio on Scout, there we go, and Rocky on Sniper. So, we're going to head into our first mid of this first map of our playoffs, upper bracket round 3 playoffs for our Respawn League. Who are you watching on this first mid, Eternal?
I'm just watching an overview, just to see what teams are doing on each mid. Blue Demo is actually a lot faster than Red's.
Oh, and the first pick actually comes out Rocky, killing Ohai on Scout with a fully charged body shot. Interesting that he didn't have a buff there. John is actually in behind. Everyone kills the medic and the demo there. Ben gets fragged as well. Doge is just getting 1 frag, but that's so many down on the side of Red Pandas. Zoid is in the right spot. He's making the play. He does actually trigger his DR and choose to run away under the point, but he's going to be... Yeah, forced to decloak in a spot that they might hear him here. He's still alive. They're actually not looking back at him, and they're just walking forwards here. That's actually a really impressive mid, leading them to full Uberad pushing into last, which is not the way we expected this to go at all.
Triss though, so that's one of their flank members down.
This full Uberad should still happen though.
Yeah, and Triss has killed Rocky as well. They're actually on crits, Sando.
Oh wow, I didn't even see that. I guess this is the big super crits coming in as they're trying to take this through Shutter. It looks like Doge actually does get taken out by a headshot from that. The crits is popped in, the gun is wrangled up, but this soldier is getting completely mulched. Medic is taken so low. Locke does die to that Uber though. Hyper on point doing so much work. They can't get through that, and the gun is going right back up from They Call Me NG, and they can't get through it right now. Bird doing the best that they can.
Is under point.
Bird's not going to let anything there. Bird's going to do that.
Rest in peace, Pause.
Yeah, and that is a failed last push, actually. That crits does get the medic, but there is a spy in behind right now on the medic. John is in the right spot, does frag the soldier, get piped and run away. He's going to reset himself for another attempt, though, I think. This is where Hertz randomly spams a pipe into the corner because he has the galaxy brain. Oh, declicks right away. Bad luck, dude. But yeah, this is even Ubers, but if Rem is still playing crits, he will charge it a bit faster. Looks like everything is charging at the same rate though, so I assume he's come back Uber, yeah. This is pretty much exactly even Ubers here, but it's 2 down on the side, including the sniper of Red Team of Atomic Affinity.
Kill Hurts with the reflect fire.
Oh, that's a big pick, but this Putus is poking Shutter quite heavily, but they do seem to be able to muscle forward here, but that's a nice shot onto the Demo Man by Doge, and that's going to stunt this push a little bit as they're successfully pushing all the way out up top there, and it looks like Brian is going to lose his life there, and they're trying to trade Ubers on this Pyro. It looks like he's going to get forced here, yeah, and they're forced to trade on that Pyro, but Rocky does get bent in the back, and this is a back cap. Not quite sure who that was. Maybe John?
It's Pause underneath the point. Pause has gone down to Hertz though.
Locke hitting some crossbows on Hyper to keep him alive as he just saves that last point, as for some reason he did just choose to stay last on that point instead of move forward. As we're looking at here, Zoid is actually in a really good spot right behind Rem. Oh my goodness, nice stab onto the medic there. Does lose his life in the end, but that's the pick that they need, and now this is going to be 75% Uber advantage on the side of Red Pandas. They do cap that point in return, and we're sort of seeing them move forward really, really aggressively into choke as there's still 3 down on the side of Atomic Affinity, and they're just using that player ad to walk all the way through. John does get a frag on the engineer, but Pause loses his life to Ohai as they get their Uber pushing through this choke. Rocky does get Doge in the very end though. And this is, oh, the medic drops to John. Exactly the right spot at the right time. And that is, yeah, so this is the game of pick classes. Spy's going really big at the moment, Eternal.
Yeah, I thought it would have been Slamper more than Spy, but both Spies are being very dominant at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a lot to think about on this map in terms of Highlander 5CP. There's 2 flanks, sorry, 2 points you got to watch. There's a flank and there's that choke that you will usually be butted up against, and I think in the confusion it's easy to forget to turn around and check for that spy, as we do see a lot of spies doing that. In terms of like analysis, I don't really have too much to say. Do you have any sort of analysis about what's happened so far? We've had a whole bunch of quick little fights, and
yeah, it's just been a lot of DM fights really. Red's pushing it now at the moment though. Atomics, they're used.
Yeah, and that they use really early. Looks like Hyper loses his life there, but this is Ad coming in full. Pause trying to pause. Hyper actually... Oh, but now let's look at Zoid here. Zoid is in... sorry, not Zoid. John is in the right spot. He loses his life, though. Bird, spy checking. She has too much experience on that class to let John do that again, I think. And this is basically turned into a wipe from this failed Uber from Atomic Affinity.
There should be a round to Pandas and Ramstead again.
Brian is actually still up behind as this Uber is pushed in. He's doing a lot to stay alive, but he doesn't live in the end. And now the point is being played by Hertz. Oh, actually a lot of damage, and this is starting to go the other way. But Zoid, decloaks on point, does manage to get that cap, and that is our first round to Red Pandas Eternal.
Yeah, I'd like to see another dominant mid from Atomic. See if they can pull off the same thing. If Rocky can get an early pick onto a player and see what he can do.
Yeah, I think they must have been really distracted watching for that Rocky sniper, and then John managed to get in behind and get those frags. Hertz is so aggressive across the point on Shupa. Shupa's going to lose his life to the Ben Soldier jumping in. Pause trading a lot of damage in there to get him down there, but that is no demo on the side of Red Team, and now there's two more people.
Rocky as well.
Hertz does lose his life to the Pyro, actually. The Pyro getting 2 frags on that mid. Both of these spies are having an awkward spy duel under the point. The mini-sentry runs out of ammunition from, what's that name? Happy McHap? Wow, there you go. And it does look like they're actually managing to cap this midpoint due to their superior positioning, even though they have less players alive right now. Zoid is on Rem. Rem turns around. Zoid is on actually very low health, but does manage to survive. And the repush comes in from Red Pandas as they just sort of regrouped themselves so much better.
I think Brian is looking to take a trade here, maybe? Yeah, they're taking a trade in Joe.
Locke does actually use his Uber there, and this is actually not a fantastic Uber from Blue Team. They're not actually being able to do anything of it. Not a super favorable trade. That Lock was caught in there and was forced to use, but they have all the positioning on point, do blue team now.
Mid sells him in gap.
Yeah, I think due to all this positioning here, Hertz has respawned now. There's no chance that they're going to be able to break their way back into this, and this looks like the mid has finally gone the way of Red Pandas.
It's a very awkward mid with a spy fight underneath the point and both NGs fighting each other in big door.
I mean, I feel like we're going to get a lot of that in Highlander, but the Uber does look like it's moving towards big door. It's a pretty even Uber situation. Schuper doing his best to see if he can deal some damage here. Hertz does not actually die, sorry. That was actually a nice shot from Doge coming in there. I thought, oh no, and I do see that. I thought that was Rocky hitting that shot. Rocky does eventually hit the shot that I thought he hit just before. And this sniper is doing quite a lot of work, hitting some nice headshots. Rocky does backing off Hyper there as these Ubers do come up to even with 3 down on each team. Looks like it's another little bit of a stalemate here, Eternal.
Yeah, there is a spy. Triss is up in River as well, actually.
John the Asian does get taken out by Bird there. Zoid is in behind there though. He's been taken out as well. And that is no spies up on either team right now. See if there can be some other sort of pick class action as we're both just spamming projectiles at Choke here. And that is answered by Doge as he gets a body shot on Greenio, the scout, taking him out there as these stickies are getting spammed through Choke by both Hertz and Schuper here. But Paul's getting a pick on the engineer in the frame.
Take this in big door as well. John does not get Jordan, but he does get found.
Oh, and that Girardi actually hit onto Hertz, does take him out actually as a full damage direct hit by Pause there and making them lose that.
Well.
Ben is in, doing what he can. He only gets the dispenser pick, which while is an immense pick, isn't quite enough for them to push right now, unfortunately. Sort of seeing some more spam action happening through these chokes at the moment. Oh, and that's Pause Schuper. That's a lot down on red team actually. There looks like they're going to be forced to take an unfavorable trade with their pyro in big door to stop anything happening. Doge is in a great position to possibly drop Rem if he can hit this shot.
Does take out Ohai as well. Like Brian's in a good position to deny anybody who jumps up top.
Yeah, this Uber trade has happened in big door, and it looks like the Uber is better on blue team, and Bird is taking it forward. Crook actually flare punches Bird down, although Bird does manage to get the medic in the end there. That's a thing you don't see very often. I thought they completely broke flare punching from back in the day, but it looks like it's back again, and that's a nice crit flare onto the enemy pyro.
Yep.
Pause hitting a nice rocket, actually killing the spy in the end there, but it looks like too little too late, and this point is probably going to go the way of blue team. Some nice spam onto Lock though. He's been taken down low and forced to back down a little bit.
Rocky does take out Doge. Rocky's still playing from the up top area in River, but he just gets spammed out by Hertz.
He's still there. He's still picking his angle. Lock is so low.
Lock
does taken down to Brian in the end there. Hyper does trade that out right away, but Rocky and Greenio, the scouts, are doing so much up there. Looks like Greenio might be caught in the end there. Ben does take him out. Pause is up there to help. Hyper is looped in all the way behind, and they take out those really aggressive players in upper river there, and they do finally cap this point. But it does mean that there is a large Uber advantage on Rem here because of that heavy pick onto the medic. It will be interesting to see if they do choose to push out with their basically full Uber advantage. More spam being exchanged.
John are both going down as well.
Yeah, Hyper is actually going to get the frag there as some arrows keep him alive, which is really good. He gets 2 frags there, the demo and the heavy, and he is still alive pushing in, but the Uber has come in through behind. They do clean him out, but Lock is still alive, and he's nowhere to be seen.
Ben is still in as well.
Ben does get taken out by a nice arrow from Rem there, and it does look like they managed to hold that last due to that Uber, but now Lock is, 30% ahead, and it looks like they're going to have a tough time pushing out here as the spawns are starting to come in. Yeah, Schuper does lose his life to that mini sentry, and it does look like this push has failed completely. Yeah, they do struggle to find this as the players come in, but that's some nice stabs actually from John. Yeah, saying that. Sorry to keep talking over you, but they call me NG is in on the medic. Does a lot of damage, but Greenio does clean him up in the end. These Ubers have nearly evened out here, and with 3 down on the other team, they might actually push this Atomic Affinity. a lot of back and forth play happening here. As the Spy actually gets a kill onto John. Zoid takes out John with a backstab there, which is the ultimate Spy play, asserting your dominance there. Hyper spamming from Big Door takes a little bit of damage, but he's getting frags. He knows when to hold these fights. He gets out on 6 health so often. Like, he gets out on such low health.
Been dropped
Yeah,
by
this
Doge.
Uber comes in and they use and mow down the entire team with that thick Pyro Scout Uber. And yeah, as you said just before, the Rem gets dropped, and that has completely reversed our situation, Eternal.
Yeah, this should be a loss for Pandas.
Is this in 2 halves, or is it just first to 4?
First to 5.
First to 5. Oh, and that's another shot onto Rem by Doge, as he's having a really, really good game, cleaning up all those frags there. And looks like Brian is going to get taken out in the shutter door, and the point is being played, and that is 2 rounds up to 0 on the side of Red Pandas, Eternal.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through this next mid?
Yeah, he's like constantly coughing. Hurts is faster to mid than Shupa, but they're both spamming different ways.
Oof.
Rocky does take out Hurts immediately though. Grinio does go down to Doge. Pause has also been taken out by Ben.
Zoid does get the backstab on Rocky, as he does get 2
Shupa
frags.
just pipe lock.
That's actually so many frags going the way of Red Team now, and it's only the Engineer and the Spy alive. The Spy is actually in a very good spot. Zoid should be decloaking very soon as he makes his way towards the point, although the Pyro has spotted him. He does lose his life in the end, and that is a really convincing mid, Eternal.
Yeah, that was a really good mid off of Atomic, and they will be going Big Door for this push. I wonder if they're going to walk through Baby Door.
It'll be interesting to see, because this is a full Uber ad. They can afford to leave one player behind as they walk forward, and it does indeed looks like what they're happening, yeah. This Uber is in lobby. They may get a couple of frags, although they do manage to back out, actually, and they get nothing with this Uber. They get 1 teleporter, and that's all they get with that Uber. And that's now 40% ad, and Zoid is in a really good spot to take out the heavy there. Shupa actually also losing his life as Hyper is pushing in super aggressively. He's playing really aggressively. Yeah, and Hertz actually does get taken out by Rocky there in the end, but this Putus play from Hyper is carrying their team, to be honest. He's just playing really aggressively and in the right position. Like, he's catching out players like left, right, and center, although he does get taken out by Rocky, and that does seem to be the momentum that they need.
Zoid is in a good position to take out Rem, but he does get Brian instead and does make it out.
But the soldier is following up on this damage, and Rem does get taken out by Ben as he jumps in there. They actually are so many players down at the moment. They did sack quite a lot of people to get that med pick. It's full ad, but like 5 people down on their team. I don't know if they'll take this anytime soon. They'll wait for their spawns, which will be another 10 seconds, and then we'll sort of see them start to move soon, hopefully.
I'd like to see Rocky get quite aggressive with this, because he knows it's disad, so he might go for a play on the med.
Yeah, it looks like the medic is trying to walk through river. Rocky is forward trying to hit that shot, but he gets denied by the whole team. He can't quite hit that. Engie, the engineer, does go down. Pause is spamming this quite hard. He does lose his life, and Doge does dome Rocky in the end. So there's that dream out. Doge actually domes Quest Greenio, the scout, too. And that is so many people down on the side, but the Uber is actually used, saying that through Baby Door. Hertz managing to spam that gun out as they rotate down back to Shutter here, and they get this cap very easily, but they do lose their Uber advantage, and the advantage is now on the side of Atomic Affinity, Eternal.
Yeah, this could be really good for Atomic. If they take this Big Door, they could probably wrap them quite easily. But I don't know if they're going to push up this, or if they do.
Yeah, they're not quick enough. They should be in Big Door, as you say, to rotate to catch these players out, but they're way too slow. They look like they're trying to nuzzle it through choke, but it's just so tentative. They're not doing anything. All of this
they're just
ad
letting
is
them
going
get it.
away.
They're pushing it now, but this is way too slow. If Locke builds this right, he can get Uber.
And that is
goes
actually
down to
Rem
Doge.
getting dropped to Doge. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't push Big Door when you have 40% advantage. It'll avoid that sniper sight line so
locks
much.
in with his team as well. Like, this is just a collapse from Pandas.
Yeah, and that, like, yeah, that was a huge misplay from, I'm not sure who called that, but yeah, that was a huge misplay on the side of Atomic Affinity. Greenio actually
is in as
does
well.
manage to
Pause
get...
is the flop.
Oh! Wow, Pause hitting those shots. Ohai, I'm not quite sure what Ohai was doing. I think Ohai was playing with his food a little bit and seeing if Bird could kill that scout, but Greenio actually hit his shots and killed Bird, and then Ohai kind of tabbed back in, I guess, and killed some people, but he also let his med get fragged, which is...
Rocky did also go down to Doge just then, so Doge has full reign over like every angle at the moment.
Zoid is in a good position as well. Actually, they do choose to back all the way out, so his positioning isn't worth it at the moment, as they do choose to just back up and fight this from upper. But it might be too little too late, as it looks like they're just going to walk in through Big Door and be able to take this fight before the Ubers even come into play. Schuper very low, actually. Schuper actually does get hurts in that fight there. The Spy, trying to do what he can, does get the heavy, but that's all he gets there. And the Uber is now up. Schuper is going to get dropped. Schuper is dropped in that Uber, and now they're so far down, they should just back out and save this as even Ubers at last, rather than trying to contest this. That does look like what's happening, as they drop too many players without using some questionable team play from the side of Atomic here, and it's just like the much better cohesion, I should say, from Red Pandas is just showing through at the moment.
It is an even last hold as well, so this... I don't know if Pandas want to try and run the clock a bit more, or if they're just going to push
I
in.
feel that Zoid is going to go for a play here. He does walk in and try to get Rocky there, but he does get taken out by the level 3 gun that Happy McHap has put up. But it looks like the point is going to get played soon. They Call Me NG is actually walking into into water rather, underneath, building a mini sentry, and I guess he's waiting for that distraction play when this Uber trade gets taken. If I were him, I would wait till this Uber trade gets taken, because they're being baited so far forward. But he moves a little bit too soon, actually, and he just loses his life for no reason, as the Uber trade doesn't even happen. That was a little bit of a throwaway from him, which is unfortunate, but the soldier does bomb in, doesn't get anything there, and they actually sack 4 people trying to get something to happen there. Looks like they're going to be forced to move backwards. Yeah,
that was a interesting play by Pandas. I thought they would have just walked in, or
they should have taken an Uber trade with their whole team while NG was underneath, and then they bait them away from the point. Then you get so much cap time. We do see the Spy actually in the right place to get Hyper. John actually does manage to get Hyper there, which is a really big pick, because he's been carrying that team so well. He's back in and gets Ben. That's actually hilarious. The point is being started to be played, but the Ubers are popped now, and it's a much better Uber from Rem, actually. He does flash the heavy, but the heavy does run away, and Bird is having none of it. But that is a back cap. Oh no, the back cap is denied right at the very end, but a nice shot from Doge is looking like it's going to equalize this fight really quickly, as so many people are now starting to get caught out. Rem is trying to wrap. I think the whole combo is trying to wrap, but second cap's too fast. They're not going to manage to cap mid in time, as they are first to come back, but Rocky domes Hurts, which is exactly the shot he needs to do. Rocky domes NG as well, but Hyper is doing Hyper things, and he is pushing in without his team and getting so much damage and frags.
Rem is put in a really bad position here, because if he tries to go out through the shutter, I think Doge is watching it.
Oh, that's actually a big pick. Schuper, yeah. Schuper doing solid for his team there. And that's John getting Hyper again at the very end. He does manage to survive as well. Looks like he's repositioning for another stab. No, he decloaks in the wrong timing and does lose his life, unfortunately. Ohai and Ben both going down to Brian's heavy, pushing really, really aggressive through choke. And it does look like they're, with this even Ubers, with the player ad, they're going to see if they can make their way forward. The Putis does go down, but Hertz gets picked in the very end, and that's a big body shot coming in. Rem fears that and uses his Uber there, and this is an Uber trade, and it's actually a much better Uber trade on Red Team, and they do manage to cap mid off that. Some really big back and forth action happening here, Eternal.
Yeah, I'd like to see Rocky get a bit more aggressive because during that push, his team was pushing through choke, but he was like really passive in big door. Like he was basically on second. So if he can get an angle, but Doge does actually dome super.
Doge playing really, really well. His experience on Highlander Sniper is showing through here, I feel. I know that was something that we mentioned in the pre-game, is with his experience, we'll do that. Oh my god, pause. 2 frags with 1 rocket on the flank. He is doing God's work. There, Ben losing his life underneath the point as this Uber does try to actually come in before the... this combo does try to push in before the Ubers come into play, but John is actually having none of that, and that is so many players down.
Pause is actually up in their river as well, just harassing behind them. He might be able to
this
cut
is
off
really
their
played. Locke
team.
looks like he might actually get caught out behind the point. He's going to get forced here in the end. Looks like the Pyro may lose their life for it. No, actually, the Uber is popped to
And
save
Pause
him.
is behind him.
This is
John,
actually
and he
really,
gets
really
Butter.
good. Doge goes down. Yeah, John Butterknife's the
Hurts
medic.
down
That's
as well.
really well played.
Super.
This looks super good as something that's convertible into a last push, as they're all players up with like 4 down. They need to hurry this in. The Pyro is going to get down by John as well, and this is the point getting played. The stickies are dead. Yeah, really, really well played.
Pause
That's
gets in
point
as well,
time,
just
point
that
time.
soldier.
There we go,
Nice.
and that is our first round. Really well converted.
6 minutes left. It is possible to take this to Golden Cap or win 2 rounds if they roll there.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely easy to take this one here. Let's let you talk for a bit, hey Eternal. I'll
Yeah.
be silent for a bit.
Super is faster on this mid, but both demos are fighting each other's big door. Just a lot of spam at the moment. Bird does kill John. Doge takes out Rocky as well. There is a level 1 on in play from NG, but he does go down to the Rockets of Pause. Atomic are leaving this.
Yeah, and that was just much better cohesion. On the other side, Pause is trying to spam down Hyper in the end. Hyper looks like he knows he can lose that fight. Pause is actually going round behind. He's definitely been called by Hyper there. He does manage to get the sniper though. He's fighting Bird. Bird is too quick on the right mouse button. But that is a huge shot from Rocky, absolutely doming Locke as they were distracted by John in behind, and that is a
Down to the
drop.
pirate.
Yeah, that's really, really well played. And they do manage to cap mid, but this looks like a really solid repush opportunity as their spawns are coming in for Atomic Affinity. They look like they really want to fight this with their advantage.
Yeah, Rocky just making so many opportunities for his team. There is a level 1 on mid though.
Yeah, it seems to be in a pretty good location too. It's going to be able to shut down any jumpers from under, and that's Doge doming the Demo Man yet again.
Does go down to Brian as well. There is a heavy fight in
Yeah,
choke.
this again, the team cohesion, they're jumping through and they're killing players and just like focusing it so well. This gun is going down as well. Doge actually does get taken out in the rear by John the Asian, and Rocky does manage to dome Hertz, but he does lose his life, and they're so few alive right now. They really need to back out before losing any more players, as this second fight looks pretty forfeit right now, as I think Rem did go down in that fight also, leaving Locke with a sort of full Uber advantage pushing towards this last.
Locke goes down to Super.
Oh wow, big trap. I'm not sure if he actually had Uber then or not.
No, he was on like 80%, but the trap was just at the top of the roller door, and Locke opened the door by himself and walked straight into the trap.
Big brain moment. That's a shame, as that looks like it was going to be a really easy push for them. This gun is level
They're
2
still
being
getting a lot
wrangled
of
in.
frags.
Yeah, there's a lot being done. The gun is sapped. The gun does get taken down, and Hyper is just walking in, doing so much
So
damage
is
as
Hertz.
Hertz is walking in up top and forcing everyone back into spawn, and anyone who's not in spawn is facing Hyper, which is not someone you want to face on that heavy class, but some
Rocky
really
just hits
big
an amazing
frags
shot
from
on the
Rocky. Yeah, that was really good, and that is actually completely stunted their push. They have so much cap time, but it looks like, unfortunately, they won't be able to make anything happen of it, as no one is in position to capitalize on that, unfortunately.
Both
Cool.
teams just playing this big door area as well.
Yeah, this is 100% ad from Rem. I'd like to see them move quickly with this. They look like they're rotating to choke to see if they can bust through. Hopefully they call this sniper because the sniper is definitely watching. He does...
But Tris gets 2 and he's in drop and he does die to a sticky from Shippo, but this just leaves
Yeah,
Rem in a
Super
scale.
absolutely mulched there. Rem actually gets forced there
Bird's
by
just
the
denying
pyro.
the super.
Bird can't, yeah. Rem is just going to die, unfortunately, I think, at the end of this. He actually does manage to get out through Big Door on such little health. He does manage to back out. That's
actually
impressive.
crazy.
Yeah, he should definitely have died there, and he does actually live for his team, which is huge. But unfortunately, the health is just so much better on blue team, and they're walking so far forward. Hyper doing really, really big work for his team as he's just so aggressive, leading the thrust forward. The point is being played from behind, actually. This is, again, it's the same strat that they've done a couple of times. I feel that they need to sync it up with their Uber push while people are actually distracted, though, rather than just, like, putting some time on the point and then sacking a player for it. Hyper actually does lose his life right before this push, and Hurts in locker just using in, but now this point is being played high on point. And see, as soon as you sync it with that Uber push, then you get the cap 100%. You don't have to feed a player before Uber in order to win that. You just need to play it with your team. That's what, like, I've been wanting them to do for ages, and it does pay off for them. And that is now 3-1 for Red Pandas.
Yeah, I hope they're going to try to just put the gun at the bottom of the stairs and have a soldier play at the back of the point, or a heavy. But it's unfortunate that they didn't have time for it, or just didn't do it.
Yeah, take us through this next mid, Eternal.
It's just even plays at the moment. A heavy of Hyper does go down, but Super goes down to Doge. Sniper's just going crazy at the moment.
Yeah, this is 100% refightable from Red Team as their spawns come in a little bit earlier. Rocky's under the point doing a little bit of damage to some key targets while he's just surviving there. And I think really that it seemed a little bit more uncoordinated actually as Hyper pushed up their side all by himself. He did get a lot of damage, but he did lose his life really, really early, which is unfortunate. Super, oh my god. Ben hits 2 cross-map horizontal rockets on Super and takes him out. That's absolutely hilarious. Well played, Ben. And Doge is just picking this choke, and this is even Ubers, but they're going to push on their 3-player ad with no demo there. They know they can muscle that choke. Ben does lose his life, and Hyper is muscling Big Door by himself. Looks like he's doing actually a lot of work. He may lose his life to the NG.
As well.
Oh, Oho does get deleted in the end there, but he does manage to pick up a frag before he does. Rem is taken down solo, and that's some really nice sticky aim from Hertz to do that. And Zoid is in the rear, and he does manage to get 2 frags in very quick succession just to seal that push for his team. Rocky and Big Door seeing if he can get anything. Doge is actually taken down really low. He's forced to back off there and can't take the fight, but Rocky is also forced back as this mid cap goes the way of blue team, and Hertz is actually super far forward. Is this time limit that we see now?
Time limit. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's the first map, 3-1 to Red Pandas, in which was way more back and forth than any Highlander game I've seen in the last little while, Eternal.
Especially in Australia, normally it's very one-sided, but this was a good game to watch. There was a lot of last pushes, a lot of good pushes from mid to second as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any like analysis or anything about that? What do you think Red Pandas did better to win that? Was it a team play thing, or was it just based on pure DM, do you reckon?
I think a lot of it was team play. Like the cohesion between Hertz and Hyper and their flank was incredible, and how well Doge and Tris can play off each other, which is very amazing to watch. But Rocky coming out as a powerhouse sniper was actually really good.
Yeah, Rocky doing actually a lot of work for his team there, which is you always want from your sniper. I believe we have some logs up as well. Standing out for me right away in these logs is Hertz. Hertz dealing 13,500 damage with 450 DPM.
Yeah.
He's played really, really well. He didn't get the max kills. Super actually got more kills than him on the other side, but he just dealt so much damage for his team as he just kind of created so much space. which let Doge really kind of have free reign as we have Doge and Ojai both right at the top of that scoreboard. Ojai 41 frags, Doge with 32. I think that tells most of the story that we're thinking about here.
Getting 10k damage on Scout alone is, let alone a CP map in Highlander where you're constantly getting spammed from every choke point possible, like that is impressive. Ojai is definitely known to be one of the Highlander scouts who will just pop off on every map and do insanely well.
Yeah, Ojai has really, really good aim. He can definitely play scout. And the way he plays around the combos is really good as well. Notice how he was in position to take those Ubers with Bird basically all the time. And it was Hyper who was playing much more of a flank role, actually. Despite taking quite a lot of heals, he was playing by himself quite a lot and kind of initiating some fights and catching out unaware players quite a lot. So it was an interesting... I don't know if you remember, it was like Dill back in the day played that kind of aggressive flank heavy in NA. I think it's that kind of style that he's trying to go for. It's really, really interesting to see kind of the slight mix up there. Who's your standout player for the server, Eternal?
Probably Doge, looking at like the comparison between the snipers, like Doge going 32 to 17 where Rocky's 26 to 21, but Doge with 34 headshots to Rocky's 25. Like Doge was constantly aggro and putting pressure onto the other team with headshots and constantly putting out damage with 391 DPM on sniper.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the damage differential, there's like a 3k, 2k, 2.5k even. He does maths really quickly in his head. 2.5k damage differential between them, which is a lot. I know there's a lot of health on the field in Highlander, but that amount of damage difference between your snipers really, really does pay off, and I feel that does contribute quite a lot. I mean, looking at medic stats as well, just before we head into this next map, both meds healing quite a lot. But we see 2 drops on each side. A lot of those pick classes were really playing off. Spies got one of those each, and Snipers got one of those each. Like, I think it's again, a game of pick classes, which Highlander does boil down to quite a lot, is those pick classes going off. Do you notice anything in the heal spread that tells any interesting stories, Eternal, between the two medics?
Other than the heavy for Atomic getting more heals than the demo, especially on like a map where heavy's kind of just slow and can't really get too much momentum, like having your demo like tanked and choke would probably be more optimal.
It feels like they're playing around Brian much more as that tank class, because if you look at his damage taken, he took 15,000 damage taken, which is the most damage taken in the server, and I feel that if they're playing around their heavy like that, it leads to that much slower play, and we saw when they had Uberad, they were just way too slow to move. I don't know if they're healing him so much because is he main calling for this team, do you know, or?
I'm pretty sure he is main calling.
Yeah, so their main calls are kind of limited at the speed of a heavy in that case, which is kind of rough on a map like a 5CP map where you want to move quite quickly, like, and rotate chokes to catch the enemy team out and things like that. But we're up for a change of pace here as we head in towards our second map, which is Badlands, and we have had a little change. They had Scotch come in on Soldier to replace Ben. Scotch plays with Ojai and Locke kind of crew quite a lot, so he's a fairly good Soldier demo man player as well. What kind of predictions do you have for these two teams here on this Badlands map?
I honestly wouldn't have an idea, especially like considering times and all, but I don't know if they have the right config. It still says CP at the top for me, but that might be an SCV bug.
It could. I mean, there's a setup time, but I reckon, I don't know, we'll see. If we reset, I guess we have to reset.
Yeah. But I can see Pandas pushing this to last and Atomic putting up like a good fight. But with Atomic attacking first, it could go either way. They might not get second. They might struggle to get first as well. Might just get it on time as well. Anything could probably happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to snipers. Doge is taking a really aggressive position.
Doge
and
has already
shuts
killed
down
Super.
Super right away as he tries to jump to spawn, I guess, or maybe just try to peek towards the
I think he'd be
cart
bombing
there.
the mid, probably.
Yeah, Doge not having any of that though.
There is a
Zoid
scout
is
on
also
Doge.
in a very good spot there. That's a classic spy spot there, and it doesn't look like Crook the Pyro knows about it. He's not spy checking any of the right spots. He does actually hit a... oh no, sorry, that's Bird actually hitting a nice flare onto Pause. And Zoid actually is still alive. The Pyro is spy checking really hard, but not spy checking in the, you know, the spot where Zoid is always standing on this map. So that's a little bit of inexperience showing, I guess, here. Hertz is managing to take out Rocky right at the end there, but he does lose his life to Greenio actually, as Greenio is pushing forward, and the super bomb does actually finally come in here, but he's not able to take out this gun, as they do actually have the cart quite far
It does
forward.
go down
And now,
to DH from Pause, but
Yeah.
Ohide has taken out Super and the NG of Happy.
that's actually 3 down on the side of the other team. Looks like they're going to successfully hold this, as Ohide does manage to clear the cart there. Again, Rocky is out on the rock here. He's not trying to take that Angel with Doge right now. He's just trying to clear that upper lane for him. But Doge looks like he's trying to engage. Doge wants this Angel. He looks like he's going to take it. Looks like he's going to lose it, actually, as the Engineer comes in to help him.
He is back and he might just shoot Rocky from
He's
above.
going to re-pick, and
Yep.
Rocky's not even looking. Huge brain.
Just Doge showing up his experience and how well
Yeah,
he
and
like how
this,
good he is at rotating.
This Uber is popped out on both teams. Actually, they trade here. Pause actually getting farmed again by Bird, but that's the sniper down by the spy, and that's the pick that they've been looking for. But unfortunately, it's the only pick they've managed to get out of this Uber for 3 frags on their side. Bird is walking really, really far forward, and the soldier is coming in, bombing. Rem goes down. Really well timed from Scotch there, as he does manage to get that frag. They are quite a few players down, but their sniper has managed to come up there, and he does actually dome Rocky right in the end there. Schuper doing some nice sticky damage in the end there, but he is actually forced to back out, and nothing is really able to be followed up on. Pause playing the cart really well, actually does manage to get that gun down also, but it looks like Hyper is not going to have any of that. Pause trying to do what he can, actually does manage to... oh, nice rocket aim, does manage to clean up Hertz there. Hyper does actually get fragged by the scout there, and that's 2 people on the cart. Looks like they may actually get this, but the soldier and Pyro are jumping forward, and they're not going to have any of that. Greenio does get taken out, but they've lost all their positioning here, and now they're looking like they're forced to go back out there, and that is the Demo Man down, Engineer down, Engineer's teleporter taken down, I should say, and this cap is now coming in. But look at Zoid again up on the rock. He's in a really good position to either go for the combo or go for the sniper. Looks like he's opting to go for the combo, but he's been called by that Engineer. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to happen for him that time. Looks like they're not checking too hard for him, as they have already taken Roof there. Nice shot from Doge onto Pause there, and they're just starting to contest Roof, and that is the
Rocky takes out Hertz as well. Like, that's a good pick from Rocky. If he can take out the heavy, his team can get a lot of ground, but the soldier
they've
is
actually
pressuring
pushed
him back.
100% behind, and Ohai is taking this trade. Rem taken down very, very low and forced to pop. The Uber is going to be slightly better for him, but Ohai just like bots in. That was a questionable play from Ohai just there. I suppose he's trying to buy some time for his team, but he doesn't really manage to get anything done. John is in a good position right now, does decloak. Butter knifes the soldier, but the soldier takes an arrow at exactly the same moment. Doesn't die. Looks like he's been called out there. Nothing really to be done by him, unfortunately, as he's forced to back off for that pack. And this looks like they've fully established their roof hold, which is not what you want to happen on this point. You really want to be able to break this roof hold. How do you see Blue Team trying to break this hold, Eternal?
I see them trying to push up maybe the back, like up the back end of up the stairs at the back, and try to push into the gun. But the gun is in a very awkward spot. It's on top of the actual like duct at the top of the roof.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if people try to jump from the back, they'll get denied from there, and I think it's denying part of the stairs, but it's just checking everywhere from where that is. Lock does go down to Schuper though.
Oh, that's really nice play from Schuper. Hertz is,
the groove.
Hertz dies too, but it looks like they're not going to be able to get this gun.
Pause
does finally get it. Pause playing so well. Hyper is quite low, but he's managing to buy some more time for his team as he's trying to back out here. Zoid is not actually called out. He takes a bit of damage there, but acts up really, really well.
But he does jump right in front of the heavy.
He
does manage
manages
to take
to
down the
frag the heavy
and
and the soldier. Rem is doing his best to move out there, but Hertz looks like he's just flexing on these players. And that is, does actually eventually get taken out, but Zoid is in the right place to clean up on that frag, and that is again that team play coming in. Zoid just clicks one button and takes out the low health gamer, although the spy caps in the end. Wow, that's looks really disastrous, but they do manage to get that cap. Locke is in a really bad position now. He's going to get taken out, and now this is 4 down, including the medic and the sniper. Looks like they're going to be able to take a lot of ground here, Eternal.
Bird is still behind them, though.
Zoid, oh no, Zoid get taken out. Unfortunately, doesn't manage to get that frag, but yeah, Bird's trapped behind. I mean, that's not a great position for her to be in, because she can't really do anything as this pyro. Yeah, I think that's the sensible play. There's nothing that you can do in that. Brian
is taking a lot of spam around this corner. Rocky is trying to get aggressive, but is just getting denied by Hertz.
Yeah, Super finally walks forward to try to do some stuff, manages to get the gun, but actually gets domed by Doge in the end there. And these stickies from Hertz are just doing so much damage. And again, he like cleans up on those frags. Nice shot from Rocky to clean him up there. And they do actually manage to get the cap in amongst all of that chaos, but they lose so many players for it. And I know Rem does have his Uber, but he has no one that he really wants to pop on here, as it looks like Locke is up on his Uber at about the same time.
Is here now.
And he does actually get Ohai, which is a big pick, because he's been botting forward with these Ubers and dealing a lot of damage. And they're getting actually a pretty respectable time
Doge
here.
Is picking really far in on tires, but he is backing up. But he is getting chased by an engineer, a spy, and a scout.
That's actually a lot of damage. Yeah, Doge does get taken out. There's loads of damage on these Pudises at the corner, and that Uber trade comes in. Brian is still on the cart, not being taken out in this Uber. Looks like he will finally get taken out. Rem? Question mark? Did Rem trade and then die, or did Rem drop?
I missed it. I was seeing what Rocky was trying to get up to, because Rocky was in the window with a weird angle on some of the players.
Yeah, there's so much happening in a lot of these Highlander fights that I'll often miss some of this action. So I apologize if Rem dropped and I missed it. If you did, you suck, Rem. If you didn't, oh well.
Still suck.
And yeah, Hertz is just taking all these fights and dealing so much damage as he just like walks forward and forces them back around this corner, not really having any of it. He's aiming his stickies so well. Shupa taken down to actually 1 health, but John the Asian does manage to come in at the end there and walked into a rocket. That's a really really good rocket from Scotch there, as that's timing out. And this Uber is yeah, Ohai coming in with that Uber. They don't manage, they do manage to get Rem actually right at the tail
really
end.
Aggressive with this as well, but he is backing up now.
Yeah, that was a really good Uber from Ohai there, as they managed to walk in, get the medic, and deal so much damage onto everyone else. Crook is trying to walk forward here, does actually deal a lot of damage to the demo man of Hertz there and force him back, and that is a nice shot. Rocky is actually doing a lot of work. Hyper Hertz down, and the soldier. Doge is still alive though, dealing a lot of damage, but
Rocky's
it's like
cleared
all of that spade. Yeah. And they're forced to back all the way out to underneath there, giving up that corner hold as they're forced to hold last itself. And the gun is not up. Locke is by himself. Finally, Ohai coming up. Paws taken down super low, but he still manages to survive up the top there.
Brian's
spamming down
a lot of pressure into the gun.
Yeah, this is actually really well played actually at the moment, but Zoid is in at the moment. Zoid is on the cart, managing to get some stabs. 2 stabs right on the cart there, but it's too little too late, and that is a... I'm not sure actually what cap time that is, because as you said before, it's got my CP cap time at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the time. I assume they'll figure it out.
From what was said in chat, is the going of logs, so I'd assume
it could be server time as well. If they started with half an hour, I imagine that would have been 11 minutes, because there's 19 minutes left.
Yeah, it was like 19 minutes, like 10, 11 minutes, so...
Yeah, so I guess we just keep an eye on it when the round starts and go from there. I reckon 11 minutes is easily beatable by Red Pandas though. Yeah. Their cohesion will fight this awesome.
I believe like the average time at the moment is like 8.5 to 9 minutes, so I can definitely see them getting there in 11.
Yeah, I definitely think like in games that I've played against them, they've often done the 7-minute cap, which is really fast.
Yeah, I think
for
the fastest you can push in is like 5 minutes 40.
I think it's just under 5, isn't it? It's like 4 something, 450.
Maybe. It's something
I can't remember.
crazy amount of time.
It's not long. You can definitely slam it really, really quickly. But yeah, this is the second round coming up here, the answer, as it were, from Red Pandas. The Demo Man is bombing in really, really aggressively, doesn't get domed at the end, but he doesn't actually end up getting anything done. A fair bit of damage on the gun, but nothing really else coming of it. And Ohai actually does manage to die to the sentry gun there as he's trying to bot forward onto Rocky. And the sniper is trying to go forward. Rocky actually misses the shot onto Bird, and Doge answers with a quick frag back on him.
Does go down again to the gun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he feels he can continually sack into them until he gets something, until the cart is like nearly at the cap, which is interesting.
Doge does take down Super, so that's the demo down for Atomic.
Zoid is in the right spot. The gun is sapped, and the spam is coming in. Unfortunately, he does get cleaned up. Doge again hitting some really, really nice shots. Rocky answers with a frag on him though. He's had enough of that.
Paws just owned their team as well.
Yeah, Paws playing really, really well. And now Rocky has re-established that hold, and there's no longer anyone on the cart, so it looks like they're just going to have to go for a normal Uber trade here. Shupa getting forced back. Ohai is in this, but Ohai gets sent to the Shadow Realm by that Pyro Air Blast. It does look like so much damage. Hyper again
that
getting... Yeah. This air blast, I mean, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but while this is all happening, there's been NG on the cart the whole time, and they haven't really noticed, and it just wait until the... Yeah, the NG does finally get cleaned up on the cart, but they drop down and lose all of their positioning. It's going to take a little bit of time before they get in there. Hertz looks like he's going to lose his life, though. No, he does manage to survive at the end. Bird doing a lot of work on that hill there, as they're still set up here, and it's, you know, quite a lot of players down for each team. Without this gun, I'd
recommend leaving as well.
Yeah, I would recommend leaving this hold. Looks like Rocky's going to get taken down by Ohai, and he's going to manage to live for it too. There's an engineer on the cart, and they're not paying any attention. It's only actually the engineer versus engineer battle, and he makes out. Yeah, there you go.
That's what
but
we want to
his
see.
gun does
Brian does go
die
flying
in the
back.
end. Zoid is in a really nice spot, actually. He's able to do something. He does manage to get the demo man there, but he is called out there. Nothing really happens. He does get Rocky as well. Oh,
Brandon
wow.
went down to Hertz. I don't know if that was a drop, but it sounded like it.
I think it wasn't. I think Ubers shouldn't have been up at the moment. I think that was probably a teleporter being fragged.
Perfectly at the same time.
Yeah, he was standing on top of a dispenser or a teleporter or something. I think because it was even Ubers, and Locke's only just getting his Uber now. So I feel like it wasn't a drop, but I guess we'll check in the logs.
Super actually got the force.
Yeah, but they used to take roof, which is a well worthwhile use, I feel. And now they're managing to camp them into this shutter door, and they're choosing to just back out and rotate around the long way to third. So that Uber use was definitely worth it, as it's only about 15% difference with them anyway. I feel that that's an acceptable use. Greenio is coming in trying to do what he can, but Bird comes in to save Hertz there. Rocky doing quite a lot of damage there, actually, but Doge rather is also doing so much. Doge manages to dome Hertz and trade with him in the same time, which is the classic soldier play. Hyper is on this corner. John is on the medic though, manages to beef that stab twice. Unfortunately, nothing really manages to happen. But Brian is taken out super low, and they can't really hold this corner too well. I don't think they realized that their ad that was only 10% has actually increased to what was 30% ad, and they're just choosing to back off. They're going to try to hold this corner, but I don't think they'll manage to hold this, as now the Uber is up, and their aggro play from Ohai will probably win them this one.
Very aggro and Super is probably dead here, but Pandas have used.
Yeah, Shupa does eventually lose his life there. Rocky loses his life to the sniper as well. Hyper and Bird both playing the cart, so the cart is still walking forwards there. And this is a heavy Uber, and the heavy can't do anything with this Uber, and they're not unfortunately able to do anything.
Just empty close, and he's going down to the pyro.
Yeah, and that's Rem goes down. Yeah, that Uber on the Putus is not what you want to have in that situation. The Putus is way too far back to do anything. You want that scout demo man Uber there, but I think Shupa was just taken out, and I have no idea where Greenio on that scout was. I assume he was fighting someone else, because he has only just died. And this cart is coming in which is, what was it, 19 minutes? So it's going to be 6 minutes time. I reckon this is a 6-minute cap. That is really quite quick there. The engineer trying to do what they can right at the end there, but that is a demolishment from Red Pandas there.
Yeah, that was a very quick game from Pandas, proving that they aren't the dominant team in Australia.
Yeah, and I believe we won't need to see our playoff map of Borneo there, because they won both of those maps in straight sets in what was about an hour's worth of gameplay, actually, just over an hour, which is nice to see. It means I get to go to bed early tonight, which I really need to do. We might have a quick look at some logs, see if they tell any stories. I have the logs from Red Panda's push. Sorry, this is Red Panda's defense that I have right now. What logs do you want to go through? The Red Panda's defense or the Red Panda's push?
Is that two? It's just one for me.
Is it just one log? Maybe.
It's just one big log.
But, alright, cool.
I did notice that Ohai did go 33 and 10 with 400 DPM.
Yeah, Ohai going nuts on the scout class. Shows you how much attention I pay to Highlander. I don't even know how the logs work. But
config was broken, so.
Is that what happened? I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hertz doing loads of damage again, actually busting 500 DPM on Demo Man, which is great. I think the only people I've seen get higher in Highlander are people like Termo, and that's really, really good, really good play to see. Hertz, yeah, doing really, really well there. Schuper not actually far behind at 470 DPM. Unfortunately, he got caught out in situations where he didn't need to be. He was often the most forward player on his team. I don't know if that is based on Brian playing more passively than both Ohai and Hyper, or if it's any different to that. Is there a reason that you think the Red Pandas took that, or is it purely DM?
I think it's a bit of both, like that cohesion coming off. I've already forgotten the map name of Gullywash. You could tell that they were very strong working as a team, and that's what you really need for payload. So if you can keep that momentum going, you can just plow through points really quickly, which is what they did. I guess that DM just kind of backs that cohesion, so they can push really well, and they have the DM to back up being super aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some great team play moments, like when Hertz bombed in and did just so much damage and got so many frags, but unfortunately didn't manage to get the med. Zoid was just in the right spot to do, 8 damage to the medic and take him out. So there is some of those team play moments, but at the same time, you have Ohai absolutely walking over the entire server with his scout DM. But yeah, I think it's definitely much more DM based in that one. There's not really too much in-depth analysis we can talk about there, rather than sit on cart and get it in a faster time.
Yeah, basically. I think we have interviews. Yeah, so we've got 4 people coming in.
I imagine we have a few people from both teams coming in.
I think we have 2 from each. We have John and Michael from Atomic. Oh, and here they are, and Zoid. Oh,
hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, John.
Hello.
Okay.
And we have Hyper as well joining from Red Pandas.
Hello.
John, can I just say I hate you?
I'm sorry.
Did any of the casters see what John did to me?
On which map?
I think Gully. It was like near the end of Gully. We found each other beneath the point, and we crouched and just shook our heads at each other. And then I thought we were going off in separate directions, but as soon as I turn around, running up Banana, he's behind me trying to fucking butter knife me.
Betrayal.
Just spy things.
I'm sorry, dude. I love you.
It's a bonus. Betrayal.
I mean, I guess we can ask a couple of questions about the game itself, I guess. Just a general question to start it off with, I guess. How did it feel from either team? Let's start with the victor of tonight, Red Pandas. Do either of you have any any standout moments or any reasons why you think you guys won over the other team, or did it just sort of feel that it came all down to DM?
Lloyd, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think it was a combination of both. I think definitely like people have the thought that we win a lot because of just DM, but there's a lot more than that. We played Highlander for a long time, but it is a lot of DM as well. So I think we just got, especially on Badwater, we got that momentum. We took a little bit to get the first cap, but we ended up getting pretty much a wipe, and we got the momentum to go all the way pretty much to like last,
So
which was lucky.
Yeah, so building off that, who does the main calling, or do you all call a little bit?
I think it's like around lock, around like Ojai, and I do a lot of calling as well. Being on Spy, I'll call Spy's position a lot if I think I know where he is. I'll call positioning of many players. So I pretty much just set up whenever I'm cloaked. I'm basically calling positions of every player that I see. What do you think, Ivar?
Oh, that's true. Usually in our games, we just call off each other's comms, and it works. We like to frag a lot. Very dominant.
Definitely noticed quite a lot of frags happening. I mean, I feel a lot of it comes down to the way your team plays around your scout in Ojai. Like Ojai going 40-something frags in Gully Wash and 33 in Badwater. Like I know he plays around the medic quite a lot, and he's always there to take Ubers. Does he get that amount of frags because he's shiny all the time, or just because he has amazing DM?
It's because we just have the right timing of Ubering our scout and then getting 5 kills in that Uber. Because usually the enemy team is in a really poor position. That's why we Uber him a lot.
Team-based, but his DM is amazing. Like, I gotta say, he's one of the best scouts in Highlander right now, I feel.
Definitely, I agree.
Yep.
What about the other team? How did it feel from your perspective, Brian and John?
I felt we were a bit disjointed, especially on Gully, actually.
I don't know. Gully felt better than most of the games we've played against you guys. Like in the beginning, at least. You know, we won first mid.
Yeah.
I feel like it was pretty convincingly, and then we just kind of
was very convincing.
And like then we just like ruined a last push, got rolled back, and then you guys took that second round, and then it just kind of like that first last push we ruined really set the tone for the entire game of just
Yeah, you guys nearly got that last one. That was close.
Yeah,
and then we ended up going all the way. It took us quite a few times actually to get out of last, but then we managed to get all the way back to your last. But yeah.
Yeah,
this is just Gully being super stalematey in the first place.
You thought it was bad with 6 players on each team. Let's bring in 3 more.
Yeah, well, because I mean, looking from a caster's perspective, there, like Super did hit those stickies and managed to get the medic down, but Red Pandas just adapted so much better, and as soon as things started to not go the way of Atomic, it kind of, you weren't as quick to adapt. Whereas I felt that Red Pandas, anytime a situation changed, they could regroup and push again much quicker and much more effectively than you did. Is that something that comes from that, you know, long series of Highlander experience, or is it just the way you guys play together?
Well, there's the particular phrase we like to use in the comms, which is stabilize, and that helps the whole team bundle together and play better.
I invented that as some players were quite tilted, so I had to stabilize them.
Yeah, I feel that was definitely what, for example, that last push in particular where the crits was popped, I feel that your regrouping, your stabilization after that is really what won you that. And as soon as things didn't work for Atomic, they couldn't quite get that stability, and you managed to roll them towards a last point. Do you agree with that, Brian / John, or do you feel that you could stabilize a bit better?
I mean, we could definitely stabilize a bit better. There are a lot of mistakes that happened tonight. There are going to be a lot of discussions within the team of what needs to change for our game later this week against Sanctum, and then if we go on and win that, to the rematch. And yeah, we're going to have to make a lot of changes, change the way we approach maps and approach pushing mainly.
Sure. So can you just explain it to me? Because I have to admit I haven't been following Highlander. This was an upper bracket playoff. Does that mean you guys are now knocked down to a lower bracket playoff against Sanctum, and then
Yep.
the winner of that game will fight in the grand final against Red Pandas?
That's right.
That is correct.
Fantastic. Sounds like we've got a couple
So,
of very
Got another
exciting
spicy
games.
game ahead of us.
Yeah, awesome. Do you have any questions for anyone, Eternal?
Not really.
Awesome. I guess we might head on to some shoutouts in that case. We're gonna, I think, walk down alphabetically. I think. Eternal, what are your shoutouts?
Shoutouts to you, Xander, for casting this with me. It was fun. And for both teams putting up a great match. That was very entertaining for me. And to Nexus's Autism Pipes in Grand Final.
Hyper, what are your shoutouts?
Shoutouts to Red Pandas, Ohai, Zoid, Wookie, specifically, and also McHappy's amazing sentry spot on Gully last.
John, what are your shoutouts?
Yeah, just shoutouts to my team, really. Shout out to Red Pandas for being a good sport, I guess.
Awesome. Brian, your shoutouts?
Shout out to Coden, Liam, Black Dragon, and Wumao.
Cool. Zoid, do you have any shoutouts?
Yeah, just Red Pandas as well, and Wookie and Brad Day.
Big Brad.
And one
Awesome.
chat.
But yeah, I want to add on saying giving us a good match. I'm glad that we can get at least one entertaining, like high level game in Highlander still in Australia. It's fun.
Do you feel that people aren't capable of forming a team at
Oh,
that
no,
level, or
people-
they just
people are
don't
capable.
want to?
There's enough players that you could make a few teams,
I would-
but there's just not the motivation or the will right now. But maybe once Respawn Only gets some more exposure, hopefully, there'll be some more teams in Highlander next season.
If I could quickly butt in, I would even say that there is quite possibly a lineup of 9 players in this country that, you know, if the Red Pandas roster sticks around, can beat it. It's just a matter of those 9 players coming together and then playing for several seasons,
think
dealing with
the,
1 or 2 losses,
Yeah,
and then building up the teamwork.
I think the biggest problem is is just the experience from Red Pandas.
Yeah.
Is it you could make it better? Like honestly, like in a couple of examples, and like, you know, depending on circumstances and roster changes and whatever, you know, subs and mercs, teams like Drew Division did like match DM wise, but we just had the upper hand in being together for so
Experience
long.
working together,
So
yeah.
that's really it. Like that's why these teams that come in new are having a hard time, just because we know what to win. It's like Xander was saying, we just sort of group together better after a failed push or something like that. We just, as I said, we stabilize better because we're used to playing with each other. So
Yeah. Nice, John.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll move on to some of my shoutouts before we head off. Really quickly, I'd just like to shout out the cast and the stream tonight. Thank you for Eternal for co-casting with me and Core for producing. It's great to see some Highlander content come out again after such a long time of no real action on Highlander. I've definitely enjoyed playing it again. Just so that we know before we do hang up, we'll be streaming the AA vs Sanctum game later this week when it's scheduled. I'm not actually sure when that's going to be, but we'll be back on this stream at some point, sometime in the next week or so, with the lower bracket playoff, which is the Atomic Affinity, who unfortunately lost tonight against Sanctum, which is another team, and I don't know who's on that. Does anyone know who's on that?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
I think Eternal has an
Hey,
idea.
Eternal, you want to schedule for tomorrow?
Think about it.
John, you said 9, you bitch, not 8. Come on.
I keep
What
it PG-13.
We'll
Awesome.
do midday, John.
Oh, sorry. No hex in the
No,
chat.
midnight, come on.
All right. Well, I think I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in to some exciting Highlander action, guys. Overtime, we'll be back later on in the week with some more Highlander action. And until then, we'll see you later.